Cool. So the next one that we have is Iron Man 3. Now, this one was directed by Shane Black. Shane Black is the same guy who directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, that also had Robert Downey Jr. in it and Val Kilmer. So it was nice to see them both working on this thing. You know, so yeah, I don't want to get into much detail because I feel like we're running out of time. So, Buck,
Okay, so this movie is an interesting one because for me, even though Ben Kingsley should not have been the Mandarin, at least when he's pretending to be the Mandarin, it actually feels like he's like a threat and dangerous, and he's a challenge for Iron Man until they pull the one of the most dumbest plot twists I've ever seen in film.
agreed.
Like, I don't understand why they had to switch from Ben Kingsley to what was his name again? Whoever.
His name is Guy Pearce. His real name is Guy
Yeah.
Pearce.
Yeah. As I was saying, it was one of the dumbest plot twists ever because also it ruined like because the Mandarin is one of like Iron Man's like most like top villains or whatever. He might even be number one, and because he uses magic and stuff, that's why he's interesting. Because Tony, like, he's like Superman and Batman, where he hates magic. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't understand why they did that. Um, RDJ is really good. I think the chemistry between RDJ and Don Cheadle in their respective roles is better in this movie than it
Yeah.
was in Iron Man 2. Because I think they finally like settled amongst each other as actors or whatever. The development with Pepper Potts also was good and all of that stuff. The movie kind of gets muddled, but the whole point of the movie is that one of the biggest criticisms about Iron Man is that I mean you've seen it in Avengers where Cap asks him, "What are you without the suit?" Basically, so after you get to Avengers, I saw that the idea was to make it smaller, which is something the MCU should start doing. I think that's the one of the problems with the MCU is they keep just escalating and they don't understand that sometimes it's okay to go small. You don't always have to save the world or save the universe or save the multiverse. Sometimes you can just save the city and it's fine. Sometimes you can just save one person and it's okay. So I think that's one of the strengths of this movie. But yeah, the plot twist and also the fact that they were trying to retire Iron Man, I think those are the two factors that kind of hurt this movie. Also, there's that kid who was the Proto Spider Man, and we've never heard from him again.
Well, he has a cameo in Endgame, but that's it.
Oh, he does? Yeah, I missed it, Ibili.
The
Okay.
funeral, at the
Oh,
funeral,
so you may not see him properly, but yeah.
he's
Oh,
he's
okay.
just tall now. So he's
So
grown.
Ufunan at the funeral. Like, you know what? Never mind.
Uh,
What does
this
that mean? Actually, no. The man had an impact
gave
on
it a
someone's
seven
life.
point. Gave it a 7.1. The extremist stuff was kind of like the problem is that the extremist storyline is like it's one of the shorter storylines in Iron Man's history. It's not like that crazy. And all it does, literally, from what I remember, because I read it a long time ago, is that it just upgrades his armor so that he can have extremist armor. So that instead of having to go get a suit, he's now got a suit living in his skin. That's what I remember from that storyline.
Oh,
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they went with that one, but yeah, all in all, 7.1. I give it a 7.
okay.
Knock the point one.
All right, cool. Um, Zooks.
Yeah, just so for me, I concur with Buck. It felt like they were trying to do a lot of things at the same time. So and then they kind of just didn't. They sort of half finished them because they had the Tony trying to be without the suit, and then also Tony dealing with the PTSD from New York, and then Tony trying to now be a proper boyfriend to Pepper, and then the extremist stuff again. Like you see, there's just a lot of stuff that was happening, but especially the if I think if they had focused on the suit and the PTSD stuff more, that would have been cool. And then Yeah. Honestly, I was hyped for it because of I didn't know about the Mandarin. So, but when the Mandarin came in, I was legit scared. I was like, this dude is scary. This dude is gonna fuck shit up. And then it turned out he's an actor and he's being used and thing and I was deflated, bro. Like I was very much deflated and I nothing could get me back up. So well that sounded wrong.
Ah,
Nothing could let me leave it because everything I'm thinking of just sounds wrong. Anyway, uh nothing could get me hyped up about it again. Um so I just feel like I don't think they knew what they wanted to do and it comes across in the movie. I don't think they knew whether they wanted to focus on Tony being less Iron Man and letting the other guys handle most of the stuff, and he'll just handle the big things. I don't think if they knew they wanted to let Tony, he's suffering from PTSD, and this is the results of it, so that we can see that yes, these guys are superheroes, but they're also human beings and they deal with stuff as well. Um, so I think that was the problem with the movie. They didn't know what they wanted to deal with, and they didn't, and because they didn't have an overarching angle, it was a big muddle. So I'll give it a 6.5,
Hmm.
and I only give it a 6.5 because I could see what they were trying to do, but but otherwise I probably would have given it like a 5.5. But because I could see what they're trying to do and they fell short of it, I'm giving them the credit for that.
and I mean the actors were good, you know.
Yes, no, actor was good. Pepper was good. The whole extremist thing. Guy Pearce was menacing, man. Like when you see how he was at that Christmas party to how he comes now, he went from all and it wasn't like over the top. You know, sometimes these guys they go from like nerd to this cool suave guy and they're over the top. Like you could see,
Jamie Foxx in Amazing Spider-Man too.
yeah, yeah. So he wasn't like over the. He was just like, hey, I'm cool, I'm calm. But then you could still see the old him trying because he's trying to impress Potts and Tony and things like that. So yeah, very good acting. I think the acting saved this movie a lot because I mean Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin, even when he turned out to be just an actor, and you were like, what? Like the little his little comedy, his little thing, that was still pretty dope.
Awesome. Rob?
All right, cool. I fundamentally disagree with all of you guys. I think this was actually a fantastic, brilliant movie. I think
What?
the problem that this movie had was comic book fans. I think if you were just a normie and you watch this movie, it's fantastic. Because if you're like, I don't know who the Mandalorian is, it's just a bad guy who comes in and gives Tony's
Mandarin. You want problems with comic book fans?
Mandalorian isn't that an instrument of some
Star
sort?
Wars, bro, you got get two fandoms on you.
Hey man, I don't
The
know.
mandolin is a
Hey,
music instrument. But yes, point is, because I'm okay, but then again, I may be biased because I'm a Shane Black fan, and he's got a style of storytelling and writing that is genuinely fantastic. Like, if you guys have ever seen The Nice Guys,
Yeah,
fantastic.
I've watched the Nice Guys.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
think what he was,
is that the Mark Wahlberg
No, it's
but the
yeah,
other guys, you think it's Ryan Gosling and
Ryan Gosling and
Manny
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. There we go.
oh, okay.
I recommend it. It is fantastic. It is funny. So anyway, his style of writing is to like catch you by surprise, especially if you watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He's got loves. He likes to play with the viewer basically a lot of the times with his style of things. He catches you by like little things, and I think what he was trying to do here was, and I think personally I think he succeeded, but I think it wasn't what people wanted. Um, so I think as a fan of these sequences, yes, I think there is some stuff you can get upset about. But if you watch it as just a movie, it's kind of great. So what it does is, first of all, Iron Man's supposed to be like a highly intelligent person, but he's got these few flaws, and he amplifies those flaws. I mean, his arrogance is what causes the entire thing. If he just stopped being a douche, the two people that try to kill him most effectively wouldn't have done anything. But because he's such a douche, it ends up being his like downfall. He loses all of his suits. Um, the alcoholism and what you call it, and depression and PTSD come together in a very unique way, where you kind of see him jumpy and freaky, and he's like nervous and scared. He's not this cool person who just has to like punch harder to get things done. I think in a separate movie that wasn't called Iron Man, this gets a lot more love. Um, but because it is an Iron Man movie, and like you guys said, some random kid shows up and then disappears, stuff like that end up just coming off as kind of off. But in and of itself, I think it still is a good movie that I think you could almost say it was on its own assignment. You could say, like they said, "Oh man, power down Iron Man." I don't know why Kevin Feige would tell him to do that, but he did, and he decided make Iron Man go through his hardest trials and tribulations, and he did. Um, and then I feel like everyone was like, "What are you doing?" Like I feel like the fans were like, "What are you doing?" But yeah, I'm gonna give this one a solid 8.5. I just really enjoyed myself with this movie, and I've watched it like 5 times, and I'm happy every time I watch it.
All right. Look,
That is
See that coming.
surprising.
Iron Man 3 was probably the best movie that they could have done after Avengers, because those were big shoes to fill anyway. And the only person that they probably relied on was Robert Downey Jr., right? Because he had already done 2 Iron Man films. I enjoy watching this movie a lot, but to be honest with you, I don't think it's the best MCU movie, even with Robert Downey Jr. at the helm. The acting is superb. Nobody is horrible in this movie. I mean, even Rebecca Hall, she was great. I liked her character. She seemed to be a bit of a threat to Pepper Potts because you have this beautiful brunette that comes back from Iron Man's past. Guy Pearce as, is it Aldrich Killian?
Yeah.
Great character.
Mm.
I mean, some would say that this is a Incredibles knockoff where Incrediboy comes back,
Ah,
and
yes, yes.
yeah, he has this whole villain arc
Mhm.
thing. Um, Also the cameo of the same character that was there in the first Iron Man, who helped him build the Iron Man suit. That
Then
was a nice homage there. Even though
Yeah,
you know
Jensen.
Janssen, even though Tony didn't, I mean, he wasn't even paying attention to him because he didn't recognize him in the first movie.
no, no,
But
that flashback that we see, it's before all of that stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
I'm saying in Iron Man 1, Jensen says we've met before, but you wouldn't remember.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's
that's what
it.
I'm saying. I'm saying that um, Tony wouldn't even remember him because he wasn't even paying attention to him at the time. That's what
Oh,
I think.
okay. I thought you were phrasing it as they met after.
No, no,
Okay.
no. I'm just saying before he met with him. By after, I mean after those events when they met when he was kidnapped. He
Okay.
didn't recognize him. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It has a lot of comedy. I feel like this is like sort of Shane Black for me. Sort of treated this movie the way Taika Waititi probably might have treated this movie if, but before what's
He
this
had more
movie?
I'm
respect. He had
saying,
more respect than Tiger. I can't give him that. He had
No, no,
more.
wait,
yeah,
wait,
don't
wait.
be evil.
Let me finish.
All right.
Before Love and Thunder, while he was still on his Ragnarok thing era,
Mhm.
uh, because for me, tonally, there's a lot of like it changes a lot. There's moments where it's serious, happy, lands up in hospital. Tony ends up somewhere. Doesn't have any communications, nothing. He's by himself. It gets serious, but then you have like that reveal, which was in bad taste. uh who's this Don Cheadle's character? Rhodey gets nerfed for no reason. I mean, there's points where you see that he could have been the one to shine, but he doesn't for some reason. That for me just didn't make sense. I didn't like how they treated him there. So they just gave him his own thing where he's saving the president, which is fine. But at the same time, I feel like, dude, you're very competent. You're competent. You could have done this by yourself, but you're not Tony, so we get it. you know. Um, and also Pepper Potts gets a moment to shine. She basically is the one that destroys, Eldritch Killian, because all of a sudden she has superpowers, right? I guess you could say she's the first woke character in this movie. And then they just ignore all of that in the future films. It's as if she doesn't have those powers anymore. you know.
Didn't they say they took it out of her?
Yeah,
Did
they had
they?
because it was gonna kill her.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
must
they
have
took.
forgot.
Yeah, because it wasn't stable. So I think there's a where at the like the ending credits where
Yeah.
he did whatever and he took it out of her.
Oh, okay.
Which is lame, by the way. They should have
It's
just
very lame because also the other thing I wanted to mention is Tony says he's letting go of everything, he's giving up and ying. And then Jiggy Jiggy, when you watch Age of Ultron, is as if nothing happened. Like he has a lot of
There was
Iron
no
Man.
we're gonna let RDJ go at that point.
No,
Uh,
but if you remember, even behind the scenes, he wanted to quit. I don't know if you guys remember this.
no, I remember, but I'm just saying Marvel was like, hell no, there's no way we're not getting you for another movie, dude. Here's another 50. That guy was ranking, that guy was making bank. And that's the thing with actors. Like, I think people think that actors live a lot of glamorous lives or whatever. Sometimes there's no jobs. You
Yeah.
yeah.
Marvel job. Sometimes you just ride that wave out
And
until
also, if you remember, by the time they were doing Age of Ultron, his paycheck was way bigger than everybody else's.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Like
dog.
by a long shot. And he's the one that actually, I think, really sort of like led this whole negotiation thing for the other actors to say, guys, come on. These guys have already done like they are very prominent in this universe. So they got a bit of a bump up on in the salaries, a bit in their paychecks, thanks to Robert Downey, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Great.
But anyway, going back to this, you guys have said it very like perfectly. The relationship between Tony and Rhodey is amazing. It's truly amazing. Even though sometimes it's a bit short because like they were still exploring his PTSD moments. Hey, where you going, Tony? I got a bail. And then he leaves. But it's really great scenes, great moments. I love watching. I've watched it way more, like more than 5 times, Rob. Like there was a point I used to watch this movie almost every day. Back in 2014, 2013, I've watched it a lot. But like I said, it's sort of like a guilty pleasure for me because it's not the best MCU movie for me. I'm not really a Shane Black fan, to be honest. Nice Guys is a nice film, but for me, I saw a lot of mistakes from the first viewing, and I was like, when you can clearly see the extras in fight scenes or stuff like that, so it didn't really land for me. But I like Russell Crowe and
And kiss
what's
kiss
the
bang
other
bang.
guy?
And kiss the girls.
I haven't seen those two. I haven't seen those two.
Alright.
But anyway, my score for this one, 7. 7 is fine. Actually, 7.5. 7.5 is fine.
Cool, cool.
Dushane, bro, we hope that you are fine. You are sorted. It's your turn, man. Let's hear you out.
Can you guys hear me now? Please tell me
Can
you can
hear
hear me
you.
now.
We can
yes.
hear you. Yeah.
Oh, loud and clear.
Okay. Oh my god. Fantastic. Okay, great. Wait, should I just give it for this movie or should I also just cover the previous movie as well?
You can make it short and sweet, sure.
Okay, let me make it short and sweet. I'd say for the first movie, that was Avengers, right?
Yep.
I'd probably give it a solid 9. Um, Purely based on the fact that I think the guys that they chose to, I don't know, probably lead the whole universe, Captain America, Iron Man, and everybody else. They really came to the forefront in a lot of ways. The humor was okay. The only people I'd say I was disappointed with was probably Hulk, but you can't really blame Marvel for that, just based on the fact that those are like Sony movies, I'd say, right? And you got different Bruce Banners all throughout. So in the time that they had, I think they did the best they did with him. But over time, they really crucified my boy, bro. They really did the worst of Hulk. So it was a solid 9, just based on the fact that the guys who were really important like presented centerfold, and then with Hawkeye and Shadow, they were all right. You know what I mean? But I felt like they kind of like just maybe drowned in the fact that if you
Widow.
look at like the power
Stop.
scales of,
Crucified.
you know
Widow.
what I mean, bro. So I can't really necessarily say that their writing was bad or they're bad characters. It just, I mean, if you put him next to Thor, bro, it's you know what I mean. It's really really hard. So and there's a super soldier next to them. So even at the best human there, the best street level fighter there is Captain America. And so I think they did really really well in that front. So overall 9.1. If we're looking at the third Iron Man movie, I think it suffered a lot from the success of the earlier movies, just purely based on the fact that the CGI was very inconsistent. Yes, the Iron Man suits look nice and whatever,
Yeah.
which is expected, right? But if you look at the bad guy, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just wasn't convinced, bro. I wasn't convinced with how he looked. The power of it just didn't do it for me. And I think that because of the fact that it's a dance, man. You know, your movie's only as good as your bad guy and how you present him. So yeah, he was all right. Pepper Potts also had a moment, like you guys mentioned, but I just felt like that's kind of cheap sometimes. I thought they do a certain superhero sometimes. I think even in the later, what in the late in like Endgame or whatever, we get another lady. I think Pepper Potts also has like a Iron Man suit, right? And we also have Ironheart. So it's like very very cheap how everybody just gets like given like the powers of the main hero that we like. But apart from that, they did improve the suits. I think that's something that I like about like Iron Man consistently. He's always improving his suits. This time it's nanotechnology. This time the moods, the suits themselves, they come apart into like different pieces and stuff. So I think that really has a very nice growth effect to the fact that he's always continuously getting better. You know what I mean? Especially after certain fights, like with the Ant-Man thing. I think why I got the nano suit was because Ant-Man was able to get into his suit. So yeah, I just like that part of it, that part that they keep improving his suits. But I wasn't really convinced with the villain and the story. The storyline was all right, didn't really move me per se. But yeah, it was okay. So overall, I'd say proper 7. 7 would probably be like appropriate. It's not horrible, but for mindless CG, it was,
All right, 7. Cool. Before we move on, so I've got a question for all of you guys. So, Rand, it's not a full tangent, but it is Marvel based. Who's the better actor between you guys? Would you guys think of Guy Pearce versus Ethan Hawke? Because you get similar looking actors, and they kind of give like similar vibes. I feel like the two of them kind of give similar vibes.
I prefer. Wait, no, wait. Who was the guy in Iron Man 2? The villain was it Sam Elliott?
No,
Yes,
it
that's
was
Sam
Michael. What's
Yes,
his name
that's Sam
again?
Elliott.
Yeah, it's
No,
Musa.
no.
Not Michael Rourke. I know Rourke was there,
Mickey
but
Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
yeah, Mickey
Sam
Rourke.
Elliott, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you're talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
Justin Hammer,
I
Yeah.
confused Ethan Hawke for
Sam
Sam.
Rockwell.
Oh,
Rockwell.
sorry.
Yes.
Not
Sam
El- Elliot is
Sam
Thunderbolt.
Elliott is the one with the white hair, with
No, I'm
the
saying
handlebar mustache. He's always old.
The old Ross.
The
yeah,
original
yeah,
Thunderbolt Ross.
yeah, the original Thunderbolt Ross. Yo, confusing my white man. Sorry, white people.
Moon Knight.
Um.
Moon Knight, Ethan Hawke. That Ethan Hawke.
Oh yeah, Ethan
Better
Hawke.
perform in general.
I don't know. I think if we're comparing their MCU performances, it's
Sure.
more or less equivalent.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you need to see them in other movies, but their MCU performances, Eldridge Killian was just as soliloquy and like he was soliloquying all over the place, the same as Ethan Hawke's character. Only
Yeah.
difference is that Eldridge Killian is an actual MCU character, and whoever Ethan Hawke was, I've never seen that guy in a comic book.
Yeah.
Oh no! I've seen him once. I've seen him once, but he's in like one panel. Never mind.
All right. Fair enough.
Half of it or something.
My take would be I haven't really watched a lot of Guy Pearce things. I know he is in the Time Traveler. He was also in Prometheus. Um, but I've seen a lot of Ethan Hawke stuff. You
Uh-huh.
know?
The
I mean,
kind
even Training Day. He's in Training Day. He's in Magnificent Seven and Assault on Precinct 13, Black Phone, and all of that. Boyhood. So for me personally, Ethan Hawke, I think, is a better actor in a sense that I think he probably has more experience with Broadway stage something theater
actually,
because
yeah.
because his monologues are amazing. Even like dialogues. I mean the Sunrise trilogy. I think we spoke about it with Richard Linklater.
Yes.
You know how impeccable those movies are, bro. Come on, you know this.
Yes. Yeah.
I just don't see him as an action, like as an actor that could make do action movies. So if we're only comparing them as actors,
Okay.
I would say that Ethan. It's a bias. I'm biased. I think.
Yeah. So you haven't seen, just to make sure, you haven't seen Memento and you haven't seen The Count of Monte Cristo, then.
I have seen The Count of Monte Cristo. I haven't seen Memento. I know that it's
You need
Christopher
to watch
Nolan's,
Memento.
like one of Christopher Nolan's first movies, which is something that I also want to say. I would say that, and I think there are a lot of actors like this. Guy Pearce is a great main character. I don't think he's a good villain.
Ah.
There are some actors that are great main characters, but when you give them villain roles, it's like they don't really know how to portray villains that well.
Okay.
So, and I think that's why it worked for Iron Man before the reveal, because we just thought it was just a decent guy until at the end.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, fair enough.
So that's my point.
So
Guy
definitely.
Pearce is a brilliant actor. No, I'm not saying he's bad at all. He's brilliant, but I prefer him as a main character than a villain. That's what I think.
And Zuko? You gotta vote?
Mm,
Oh, that's not a good sound.
I honestly, I've watched more Guy Pearce than Ethan Hawke, so
Okay.
Pierce, yeah, Pierce stands out more for me. Honestly, off the top of my head, I can only think of Assault on Precinct 13 and Training Day for Ethan Hawke. I know I watched it. I watched Mimic
Oh, Dave.
and I watched something else of his, but I honestly just can't remember it.
I mean, he was in
So,
Magnificent Seven,
What about Black Phone?
Black Phone.
oh yes, Magnificent Seven.
Okay,
Yeah,
I hate
but honestly, I think also I'm being poisoned because I watched Guy Pearce in Memento and he just blew
Yeah.
me away there.
Yeah.
And I don't,
Yeah.
and off the top of my head, I'm not saying this is true, but I'm just saying off the top of my head, I don't think Ethan Hawke has a Memento that I have seen. Let me put it that way, that I have seen.
as a leading man. Nah.
No, he's quite
Yeah, he doesn't have a movie as good as Memento that I have seen.
Yeah. So I was gonna say.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
please,
a good.
people,
That's a
I
good.
said I have seen.
Yes.
No. I think that's a good point. Even if you saw any of his movies, I think that's a very good point. I haven't seen Black Phone, but you make a very strong argument there.
No, that's
Because
okay.
I think as a leading man, he needs someone else to help him, like a Denzel Washington or a Lawrence Fishburne, or you know what I mean, like a co-lead or something.
Oh, well, we need to see Sinister and Black Phone and okay. I will never recommend Predestination to anyone. It's the worst movie ever. But Daybreakers is pretty fantastic. Fair enough. Tsepo? I mean, sorry, Dushane? Dushane?
It's the shade, bro. It's the shade.
He's that top boy, man.
It's that top. I keep saying it's that top boy, bro.
Wagwan, brethren.
Okay, look, if we're going strictly off of just MCU performances, right? I don't necessarily think that Guy Pearce was bad. Like I said, I just criticized the CG of, yeah, so there's not really much you could have done about that. I think his acting was good. Just looking at the type of ranges that they have, though, I would say Ethan Hawke is probably more recognizable, like just movie-wise for me personally. Yeah, bro. I feel like, but Ethan Hawke, I think, moves me more. Maybe even as, even as a bad guy, he just has that look for me personally, also. So yeah, but this is just based off of like MCU movies, right? This is not based off of.
Fair enough.
Yeah. If it's just based on that, then yeah. Who's this? Guy Pearce, wasn't he in what's this movie with Constantine? Wasn't he in Constantine?
With Keanu Reeves. No, he wasn't.
No.
Someone else entirely.
So who played the angel? The angel Gabriel, Galadriel,
Oh,
whatever.
that's Tilda. That's Tilda
That was a
Swinton.
Clinton.
That's Tilda Swinton.
Okay, we can
Man,
see.
I don't know what you're trying to say about Tilda, bro. I don't know what you're trying to say about
I
Tilda.
don't know. Maybe these people look alike to me. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You
Wow.
Okay, wait. But to be fair, Tilda did not play a woman in that role. Let's be honest. To be fair.
Okay.
Oh well,
No. Yeah, I
you're
feel.
supposed to be
But
scandalous, but I'm just saying that's a wild stuff there.
views
But
expressed by.
it's been very.
But
But keep in mind, it's just been very long since I've seen this movie. Also, I will
No,
admit.
Tilda is amazing. There's a movie where she plays an old man, bro.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So it's fine. Don't worry.
Thanks for my
But
tangent, guys. Thanks for paying attention to my tangent. Anyway.
All right.